Have you ever noticed something strange? Sometimes the most exciting part of buying something is not when it arrives. It is before you buy it. You see a pair of running shoes. At first, it is just a random scroll. Then you click to look. Then you check the colors. Then the reviews. Then the sizing. Then the unboxing videos. Then someone says the shoes feel unbelievably light. And before you have even placed the order, your brain has already started playing a movie. In that movie, you are waking up early. You are running before work. You are calmer. You are healthier. You are somehow becoming the kind of person who has their life together. The shoes are not even yours yet. But next month's version of you already looks different. Then you buy them. And for the next few days, you keep checking the tracking page. Has it shipped? Where is it now? Did it leave the warehouse? Is it coming tomorrow? Every time the page updates, you feel this tiny spark. Like something good is getting closer. But then, the package finally arrives. You open the box. You smell that new shoe smell. You try them on. Maybe you take a photo. And then, a lot of the time, something awkward happens. The strongest excitement is already gone. The thing is now in your hands. But the feeling has somehow been used up in advance. That is the case we are investigating today. Why does it sometimes feel like you already enjoyed the thing before you even got it? At first, this sounds like a simple problem. Maybe you just get bored too quickly. Maybe you are too easily influenced. Maybe you just like shopping. But I think something deeper is going on. Because very often, the thing you think you want is not the thing itself. What you really want is the version of yourself that exists in your mind before you buy it. Running shoes are not just running shoes. They are the disciplined version of you. The version that gets up early, goes outside, runs 3 miles, and somehow becomes a different person. A camera is not just a camera. It is the creative version of you. The version that finally starts documenting life, making things, seeing the world with taste. A book is not just a book. It is the smarter version of you. The organized version. The person who has answers, systems, and control. A storage box is not just a box. It is the clean, calm apartment. The life where your desk is clear, your drawers make sense, and your brain finally gets a little quiet. An online course is not just a course. It is the future version of you who finally figures it out. The version who changes careers, earns more, starts over, catches up, gets ahead. So here is the strange part. A lot of impulse buying is not really about buying products. It is about buying trailers for a new life. And trailers are often more exciting than the movie. In psychology and neuroscience, there is an important difference between wanting something and liking something. Those two words sound almost the same in normal life. But in the brain, they are not the same thing. Kent Berridge and Terry Robinson, researchers at the University of Michigan, have spent years studying reward systems. One of their big ideas is that wanting can be separated from liking. In plain English, something can make you really want it without making you equally happy once you actually have it. Wanting is the chase. It is the force that makes you move towards something. It makes you search, compare, click, save, refresh, and buy. Liking is different. Liking is the actual enjoyment when you use it, eat it, wear it, read it, or live with it. The problem is that the wanting system can be louder than the liking system. It can move faster. It can create urgency. It can make the future feel almost touchable. That is why the experience feels so familiar. Before you buy it, you desperately want it. After you buy it, you may still like it. But somehow it feels smaller, less magical, maybe even a little empty. That does not always mean the product is bad. It means the experience before the purchase was already rewarding you. Watching reviews is a reward. Comparing models is a reward. Finding a better price is a reward. Adding it to your cart is a reward. Placing the order is a reward. Waiting for delivery is a reward. You thought the happiness would start when the package arrived. But your brain did not wait that long. The moment you started imagining it, the reward process had already begun. This is also where dopamine comes in. A lot of people talk about dopamine as if it simply means pleasure. That is too simple. Dopamine is deeply involved in anticipation, learning, and the pursuit of rewards. In the 1990s, the neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz and his colleagues did a series of famous experiments on reward prediction. At first, the brain's response showed up when a reward appeared. For example, when an animal received juice. But once the animal learned that a certain signal meant the juice was coming, something interesting happened. The response moved earlier. The brain did not wait for the reward itself. It started reacting to the signal. In other words, the brain is not only excited when the good thing arrives, it can become excited when it believes the good thing is on the way. And that is why carts, wish lists, sale alerts, and tracking pages can feel so powerful. They are not the product. They are signals. They tell the brain, almost there. It is coming. The reward is getting closer. The better life is on its way. So when you refresh a delivery page, you may think you are just checking whether the package moved. But emotionally, something else is happening. Your brain is receiving another little signal that the future you imagined is getting closer. It is a bit like watching a TV series. The ending matters. But the thing that keeps pulling you forward is often the cliffhanger. The next episode. The almost. The not yet. Before a product arrives, it can represent almost anything. Discipline, beauty, efficiency, freedom, identity. The feeling that you are finally about to take your life seriously. But once it arrives, it cannot stay infinite. It becomes specific. A pair of shoes, a camera, a book, a course account, a plastic box sitting in your room. And specific things come with friction. Shoes have to be worn outside. A camera has to be learned. A book has to be opened. A course has to be watched after a long workday. A storage box still requires you to face the mess. That is the moment when the trailer ends and the movie begins. And the movie has one uncomfortable problem. The main character is still you. The same you who did not want to run yesterday. The same you who gets sleepy after 3 pages. The same you who bought a course but feels exhausted at night. The same you who wants a clean room but feels overwhelmed by the first drawer. This is why some products feel like a life button before you buy them. And then, after they arrive, they become normal objects. Before the purchase, the object is connected to your imagined future self. After the purchase, it has to deal with your current self. And your current self is usually heavier, messier, and more tired than the version in the trailer. There is a shopping study from 2007 that shows how early this process begins. Brian Knutson and his colleagues at Stanford put people in a brain scanner and showed them products and prices. The participants had to decide whether to buy. The researchers found that before people actually made the purchase decision, parts of the brain related to anticipated reward were already responding to products they liked. And when the price felt too painful, another kind of response showed up, closer to discomfort and loss. So buying is not just a calm spreadsheet calculation. Before you click buy, feeling and expectation have already entered the room. Very often, the feeling arrives first. The explanation comes later. Think about an air fryer. What feels exciting may not be the machine itself. It is the version of you who cooks healthy meals every night. Think about storage bins. The exciting part may not be the plastic. It is the fantasy of finally escaping chaos. Think about a business book. You may not be excited about paper and ink. You may be excited about becoming someone sharper, more strategic, more capable of making money. So a lot of shopping desire looks like a list of objects on the surface. But underneath, it is often a list of identities. You are not just buying things. You are auditioning for a role. This is why recommendations and lifestyle content work so well. They rarely sell only features. They sell a life. A cup is not just a cup. It sits on a clean desk, next to morning light, a notebook, and a person who seems organized. A jacket is not just a jacket. It is worn by someone relaxed, attractive, confident, and slightly above the chaos of normal life. A device is not just a device. It hints that you will become more efficient, more professional, more serious about your work. The thing that gets you is often not the specification. It is the feeling. I could be like that too. And when you buy, there is a subtle emotional payoff. It does not feel like spending. It feels like voting for your future self. I want to become that kind of person. I am willing to pay for that kind of life. And to be clear, this is not always bad. Human beings need imagination. We need symbols. We use objects to remind ourselves that life can change. Sometimes a new tool really does help. The problem is that the brain can confuse buying the symbol with beginning the change. You buy the running shoes and for a moment your brain feels closer to discipline. You buy the book and for a moment your brain feels closer to knowledge. You buy the course and for a moment your brain feels closer to transformation. You buy the storage boxes and for a moment your brain feels closer to order. But in reality, the purchase only puts the prop in your hand. The action has not started yet. And this is the trap many of us fall into. We use buying as a substitute for beginning. We use research as a substitute for practice. We use adding to cart as a substitute for change. We use waiting for delivery as a substitute for facing ourselves. That is why the thing can feel used up before it arrives. Because the pleasure was not only in ownership, the pleasure was in briefly escaping your current self. For a few days, you got to live near a better version of you. So, what should we do with this? The answer is not to never buy anything. This is not about being cold, joyless, or suspicious of every desire. Desire is useful. Desire is information. It can tell you what kind of person you want to become. It can show you what kind of life you are drawn to. It can reveal where your current life feels frustrating. So the goal is not to kill the desire immediately. The goal is to translate it. When you want to buy running shoes, do not only ask, "Should I buy these shoes?" Ask, "Do I want these shoes, or do I want to become someone who runs?" If the answer is the second one, there is a simple test. Before buying the new pair, go outside with whatever shoes you already own and run for 10 minutes. Not to prove that you deserve the purchase, but to see whether the desire is connected to real action. When you want to buy a book, ask, "Do I want this book, or do I want to become someone who reads and thinks more clearly?" If it is the second one, pick up one of the unread books you already have and read 20 pages. When you want to buy storage products, ask, "Do I want the boxes, or do I want a less chaotic space?" If it is the second one, clean one drawer first. You may notice something strange. If you truly want the life behind the product, taking a small action makes you clearer. Sometimes you will realize, actually, this thing would help me. Then buy it. Because now it is not replacing the change. It is supporting it. But other times you will realize, I liked imagining that version of myself. But I do not actually want to live that routine. And in that case, you just save the money. Here is a simple question that cuts through a lot of fantasy. Do not ask, "Do I want to buy this?" Your brain can always build a case for buying. It will find reviews. It will find discounts. It will find limited time offers. It will remind you that everyone else seems to have one. It will tell you that you have been working hard. It will tell you that you deserve something nice. So ask a better question. If this arrived today, what would I do with it tonight? That question pulls the fantasy back into real life. If the shoes arrived tonight, would I go for a run? If the camera arrived tonight, what would I shoot? If the book arrived tonight, how many pages would I read? If the course opened tonight, which lesson would I take? If the storage boxes arrived tonight, which drawer would I start with? If your answer is specific, the product may actually be useful. But if the answer is vague and all you can say is, "Someday I will become better," then be careful. You may not be buying a tool. You may be buying comfort. Another useful method is to turn the shopping cart into an observation period. Not just to wait for a lower price, but to wait for the fantasy to cool down. When something first gets planted in your mind, it can have a glow around it. It feels like a doorway into a new life. But 2 days later, it may just look like a normal product again. Wait a little. Then ask, what problem does this solve? Where exactly would I use it? What would be inconvenient if I did not buy it? If you still have clear answers, it may be worth buying. But if after a few days you can barely remember why it felt so exciting, then maybe the thing you enjoyed was only the imagining. The imagination already gave you the pleasure. Do not make your wallet buy a second ticket for the same movie. So let us look at the whole case again. Why can something feel exciting before it arrives and ordinary after it is yours? Because before the purchase, the product is not just a product. It is a signal. It tells your brain, the reward is coming. Change is coming. A new life is coming. A better version of you is coming. So your brain gets excited. It starts chasing. It starts filling in the story. But when the thing finally arrives, it changes. It stops being a possibility, becomes an object. And an object cannot live your life for you. It can only wait for you to use it. So the real question is not whether you can control every shopping desire. Real question is whether you can understand the wish behind the desire. Sometimes you really do need the thing. But many times, what you need first is the action. Run for 10 minutes. Read 20 pages. Clean one drawer. Take one photo. Cook one meal. Try living as that version of yourself for a few minutes before you buy the costume. If the tool still helps after that, buy it. Then it is a tool. But if what you really loved was the trailer, the imagined version of yourself, the promise of a life that had not started yet, you can admit that the pleasure already happened. It does not always have to become an order. A lot of people think impulse buying means we are too greedy. But sometimes the truth is more human than that. We are not just greedy. We are hungry for change. The problem is that the brain often mistakes the buying button for the entrance to change. So the next time you really want to buy something, do not immediately shame yourself. Ask one quieter question. Am I buying this thing? Or am I buying a person I want to become? And if it is the second one, the real first step is not placing the order. It is living as that person for 10 minutes tonight.